Alicia is here now with modified racing from New England.
That's right, Dave. Icebreaker 86, the traditional season opener, delayed 2 weeks this year by, what else, snow. The annual NASCAR Modified Classic finally ran last Sunday at Connecticut's Thompson Speedway. First, a little motorized mayhem from the street stock prelim. That's Leo Adams, number 14, getting leaned on by Jerry Swanson. Adams throws it back across the track in true bullring style with everybody else just trying to get by. Now, just when it looks like old Leo's got everything in hand, here comes trouble from behind in white. He gets bumped, everybody dances, and now you know why these late model bumper cars are a favorite at weekend races from coast to coast. Oh, by the way, this guy, Rob Green, came through to escape the carnage and take the victory. Now on to the stars of the show, particularly number 5 on the outside, Charlie Jarzombek. At the start of the 75-lap feature for the Modifieds, Jarzombek took the high line and said goodbye to the field. But behind him, it was another story. Watch here as traffic backs up, and getting the short end of the stick will be last week's Spring Sizzler winner, Flying Brian Ross. Brian gets his wings clipped with this infield donut, but tires were the key. Up front, Jarzombek pitted under yellow on lap 50, then started from the back of the pack before roaring back to pass 26 in yellow George Kent for the lead 9 laps later. Farther back, same story. 44, Greg Saxon second, who also stopped for tires, came back to collar poor George for second with 7 laps to go, but not soon enough to catch Chargin' Charlie. Jarzombek held off Sax by 2 lengths at the wire, taking his second NASCAR modified win of the year.
And we turn now to boat racing. Given its unenviable safety record, the innovators of unlimited hydroplane competition are making big changes in their equipment. A leading cause of hydroplane crashes is air under the boat causing unwanted lift. But the boat racer's post-crash problems can be even more serious if his racer lands keel side up. Now, with that in mind, here's what the state-of-the-art unlimited hydro skipper will be wearing this season. Jim Kropfeld will strap himself into a brand new Miss Budweiser with a fully enclosed cockpit and crash survival features.
One of the main things I have is an oxygen rebreather. I rebreathe my own air, but it's replenished with the 20% of your oxygen. We have naturally fire systems that floods the cockpit and the engine compartment in case of fire. On the bottom here, in case the boat is upside down in the water, I can open this from the inside or it can be opened from the outside by the safety team.
Safety measures are not all that's new with that team. Though owner Bernie Little once swore he'd never abandon piston engines, he will in fact have turbine power. For not 1 but 2 Miss Budweisers this season. For selected events, Scott Pierce will join Kropfeld to form the sport's only 2-man team.
As Indianapolis Motor Speedway cranks up for the 70th running of the world's most famous race, Ken Squire recalls one of the memorable Indy 500's past. Ken?
Here's another page from my Valvoline Motorsports scrapbook. May 1939, Indianapolis, Indiana. 11 years after taking his first Indy 500 victory, 3-time winner Lewis Myers returned to the Speedway, hoping to become the first man to win the 500 4 times. At the end of lap 1, Meyer, who drove his very first automobile race in the 1927 500, took the lead. For most of the next 450 miles, Meyer kept his Boyle Special number 45 out front. With the laps running down, Meyer was passed at the start-finish line by former winner Wilbur Shaw. Desperately trying to regain the lead, Meyer spun out of turn 2. He crashed hard into the inside guardrail and was thrown from his car. Miraculously, Louis Meyer scrambled to his feet unhurt, just 4 laps short of a possible 4th win. Wilbur Shaw swept on to victory, making the 1939 Indy 500 the second of his 3 wins in the world's most famous race.
Still ahead, the latest Dale Earnhardt conquest.
And we'll hear from Chris Economaki when Motorweek continues. Tomorrow's NASCAR stock car race at Martinsville, Virginia, marks the 2nd straight Winston Cup visit to the short tracks. Benny Phillips reports on last week's action at North Wilkesboro, North Carolina.
To borrow a line from Jerry Reed, when you're hot, and nobody in racing is hotter than Dale Earnhardt. He made it 2 in a row Sunday afternoon at North Wilkesboro Speedway. The driver for the Richard Childress Chevrolet team is as hot as Bill Elliott was a year ago. He has been in front every race and has led nearly half the miles of competition this season. But Earnhardt's 17th career victory did not come easy. Sentimental favorite Richard Petty started on the outside front row and kept the fans standing as he led during the early going. Petty had tire problems and was eventually sidelined with engine failure. Meanwhile, pole winner Jeff Bodine, number 5, moved to the front, and later it was Ford driver Ricky Rudd, number 15, who took the lead. Rudd was leading the race with just 30 miles to go. Bodine was running second and Earnhardt third. But this caution, brought out when Dave Marcus slammed the wall in turn 2, changed all of that. When Earnhardt couldn't get to the front on his own, his crew did it for him.
Them guys got us out of the pits at the first there and put us in the lead, and at the last there when I was running third, they put me back out front again. I think that was the key to us winning is getting us out in front of Ricky.
Something on a pit stop went wrong with the guys have had quick stops all day, 22, 23-second, 4-tire stops. The very last stop was 27 seconds. Earnhardt got in front of me, and that was the difference between first and second today.
Bodine finished third, Darrell Waltrip fourth, and Joe Ruttman fifth. Waltrip maintained his lead in the Winston Cup point standings, but Earnhardt is closing fast. Rusty Wallace is third, Bill Elliott fourth, and Terry Labonte rounds out the top 5. From North Wilkesboro Speedway, for Motorweek Illustrated, I'm Benny Phillips.
I'll grab your pencil and paper now because Winston Cup star Buddy Baker is going to be our guest on May 24th for a special edition of Motorweek. We'll be live from Charlotte Motor Speedway, scene of the World 600. And Buddy will be drawing the winning name in our Join the Crisco Racing Team sweepstakes. Now here's the address for entries. Send your name and address on a 3x5 piece of paper. A lucky Motorweek viewer and guest will receive an expense-paid trip to the National Homes 500 at Charlotte on October 5th. Deluxe hotel accommodations, tickets to the Crisco VIP suite, a garage tour with Buddy Baker, and $200 spending money. The entry deadline is May the 19th, and again, Buddy Baker will draw the winning name on Motorweek live from Charlotte Motor Speedway on May the 24th.
A famous American racetrack is changing hands, and National Speed Sport News editor and publisher Chris Economaki thinks good things will come of that. Chris?
Indications that Roger Penske is interested in buying the Nazareth National Motor Speedway, a 1-mile dirt track in eastern Pennsylvania, has to come as good news for the followers of oval track and IndyCar racing. The East has been short some famous racetracks of late. Langhorne is gone, Trenton is gone, and the Pocono Raceway may be off limits for IndyCar racing after this summer's Domino's Pizza 500. The IndyCar series of late has been going to road races more and more. And right now, the only IndyCar races where the track can be seen all the way around from the grandstand are the mile ovals in Milwaukee and Phoenix, the 2-mile track at Michigan, the 2.5-mile track at Pocono, and the Airport Road course in Cleveland. What racing needs is more good oval racetracks, and I'm sure that Roger Penske can turn the Nazareth National Motor Speedway into what he wants to turn it into, one of the finest 1-mile tracks in the country.
Thank you very much, Chris. Chris created a bit of a stir last week with his comments on sprint car racing, and we expect to hear some rebuttal for that next Saturday here on Motor Week. Our champion spark plug racer of the week now, definitely a two-sport letterman. Former quarterback Dan Pastorini, at the end of his financial rope racing on another driver's throwaway tires, whipped his mentor Gene Snow and won his first Winston World Championship drag race. A lot of people didn't take Pastorini seriously when he announced his intention to go racing. I'll tell you what, his first big win coming in only his 7th start. Dan, I think they're going to take you seriously now. Quarterback turned quarter-miler, top fuel drag racer Dan Pastorini is our champion spark plug racer of the week. And we're going to leave you today with something just a little bit different from Phoenix, Arizona. No, this is not Shirley Muldowney, but it is a drag race, complete with rear-engine fuelers and flip-body funny cars. From the Megabuck sponsors to Al's Volkswagen parts entry, variety is the key. The fans line the fences for matchups like the Tasmanian Devil against the three-wheeler with wheelie bars. At Firebird Raceway sand drags, folks are putting the desert to good and indeed exciting use. Paddle tires are the common denominator of the sport, which proves once again, if it's got a motor, somebody's going to figure out a way and a place to race it. And with that, we're going to say so long until next Saturday at this same time.
I'm Bob Varsha. We'll be back next week with more Indianapolis news, the San Marino Grand Prix, Riverside Camel GT action, Winston Cup stocks at Martinsville, and a whole lot more.
I'm Dave Despain. For Jim Roller and all of us here at Motor Week, we'll see you next Saturday.
Promotional fee paid by all vegetable, no cholesterol Crisco. Nothing makes a pie crust flakier than Crisco. And by the Air Force Reserve. Be one of a kind in today's Air Force Reserve. Now more than ever, a great way to serve. Call toll-free 1-800-257-1212.
Motorweek Illustrated was brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?